Oh, I think my seat's broken. Wonder who broke the seat. Nah, it was me. I broke it. Nah. Reese, you know what?
What?
We're having a dance. Get up and dance. We're not starting to. Get up and dance.
It got a little longer, so it seems.
The camera to prove it.
Out, so to speak.
Guys, we're not starting the podcast until Reese dances more. Okay, he's dancing.
I feel a little light.
All right, and be seated. Man, I feel like Alan starting an hour-long talk show with a bit of a shit dance. That's right.
Normally
Now,
goes for longer.
yeah, and also I also harass my employees constantly, and in 20 years I'll get busted for it. You'll come out and Twitter and be like, "Oh God, almost tipped the table over."
Almost hit the table.
Geez, that would have been a disaster because you've got a computer
Yeah,
and
a
a microphone. Guys, welcome to the Luke Kidgell Hour. The hour has not begun yet because we have not hit the starting buzzer. Now, before we hit the starting buzzer, we need to talk. Guys, let's be honest. It's been 3 or 4 episodes with the buzzer, and the standard so far has not been great. And that's your fault. We left it up to the listeners. We were like, this is going to be a fun, interactive part of the show where people can send in their own sound effect and get it played on the podcast. Great way to get listeners involved, and a great opportunity to have a bit of a laugh if you hear your sound. What did we get last week? The woot woot,
Yeah,
which
which
was
ended
a sound effect from the game Halo. Now, I enjoy the game Halo. Not a great start to the podcast, was it? I would have preferred, oh, yeah, that would have been way better. All right, guys, this one is sent in by Andrew White, member of the podcast. People might know him as Whitey. He helped us with the loogies. Great man.
King of gear.
King of gear, loves gear, not drugs, technology, equipment. We don't know. I'm not, I don't think he's the king of that gear. But all right, this is it to start the podcast in 3, 2, 1.
Fucking good cheese sausage, isn't it?
We're back. Fucking good cheese sausage, isn't it? Caden's mum. Fuck yeah. That is my favourite video of all time. You know, sometimes I still watch that before I go to bed, you know, just so I don't have nightmares.
yourself,
Yeah, just so I leave the day on a smile.
Yeah.
I'll just chuck it on. It's in my saved, like, videos. I'm like, fucking good cheese sausage. And I'm like, all right, I can end the day now. That's
Yeah.
good.
Well, he promised it would be a good one, so we still.
Can we play that again?
Yeah,
I just want to. I
yeah.
like the air horn. I don't think I fully appreciated the air horn. So he's edited it as
Yeah,
well. A
he
little bit
has,
of
yeah.
effort. Oh, the music's still playing. I was like, what's that noise?
Yeah.
The music's playing that whole time, was it?
Yeah.
Fucking good cheese sausage, isn't it?
Do you like it, Whitey? I like it. Fucking good sound effect, isn't it? All right, guys. It's time to begin the Luke Kidgell Hour. Hope you guys are well. I hope your lockdown was good if you're in Melbourne. My lockdown was sick. I got gardening done. I conquered people thought there was going to be another weed war. I would say we're on the brink of weed war 2, but I squashed them before they even knew it was coming. I would say there was definitely a battle, but it was not a war. It literally took me 60 minutes. I chucked a podcast on and I just pulled out those weeds. No chemical warfare was used like last time, which I'm a little bit worried about. Maybe I should have ended it fully with a little bit of poison again, but I did not rain on those suckers this time. I gave them a chance to fight back. Will they? Who knows? Too early to tell. But I also went away for the weekend on the beach. Actually, before we begin, Reese, tell people what's on the whiteboard today.
Nothing.
Fuck all. And usually we write down all the things we're going to talk about on the whiteboard. But today, we're under a time crunch. I have somewhere to be in about 90 minutes. And the place is over 30 minutes away. So we're definitely going to be late.
Yeah.
But that's fine. So I didn't have time to write down things on the whiteboard. So this is going to be a roller coaster ride of a podcast. I might run out of things to say in 7 minutes. We have no idea. Or it could make the full 60. Who knows? Either way, I can promise you this. This will be a 60-minute episode regardless of quality.
We're not doing the Luke Kidgell 20 minutes.
No, we're not. This is called the Luke Kidgell Hour. It's not called the Luke Kidgell Attempts an Hour. It's called the Luke Kidgell Does the Whole Damn Thing. I'm not a quitter, but I'm not promising quality, but I am promising quantity. So tune in for the roller coaster, get comfortable, and let's go on this journey together, and let's just follow the riff. All right, let's just see where the laughs take us today. I do want to start with on the weekend, I went away with some friends, quiet beach weekend. It was supposed to be like a getaway type weekend. It ended up just being a lot of mosquito bites, fair few beers, a sand dune injury on my knee. I'm a sucker for a steep sand dune and a boogie board attempt down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you get cocky like anyone does. So it's quite a steep, I would say 25-meter long sand dune. Perfect for sliding down. It was just ripe for it. We spotted it and we were like, well, that's going to get slid on. So you turn your boogie board into a sled, you hold the thing, and obviously you go down your stomach a couple of times and you go down on your butt a couple of times. And usually that's when most people would call it a day. Not this guy. I'm an adrenaline junkie. Okay? I mean, not really. I don't think I'd ever skydive. It seems scary. But when it comes to 25-meter hills and mild risk, I'm there. By the way, I would skydive if it was funny. You know? Like how Steve-O skydives while doing a cum. You know? Maybe not that, but that's pretty funny. You know, like I would say that's a funny way to skydive.
Yeah.
Mid-jizz. Which is, you can look it up. Steve-O from Jackass did do a cum while in the air. That must be, you know, when people talk about great cums, I wonder where that ranks. Dude, that's so irresponsible. I've just thought about that.
Imagine that, like, pitching that to, like, the company who would do the...
Well, yeah, I've watched Steve-O. I feel weird. I'm just racking Steve-O's content now, but I did watch him. We'll watch it online. He talks about that they had to hit up about 100 skydiving companies to get a tandem diver that was willing to let Steve-O do a cum pretty much on him while falling out of the sky. So anyway, but yeah, I've just realized then it would have hit a bird, like 100%, or like where do you reckon it would dissolve before it hits the ground?
It might dissolve before it hits.
Do you reckon someone was just walking along, like just walking out of Coles, or it wasn't Coles, it was in America, you know, walking out of fucking Whole Foods or whatever, and they just like, what's that? Like, Jesus, that bird was hydrated.
Yeah.
That was a runny shit. Man. They should call the new one Jizz Ass. Fuck, we should have written some stuff on the whiteboard.
Only been 10 minutes in.
Yeah, I don't know about Jizz Ass. But anyway, so I'm going down these sand dunes. I try and stand up on the board. So I've got one hand on the cord that you're supposed to, the wrist strap, and then I'm surfing. By the way, I've already surfed a couple of hours before, didn't have much luck. So I don't know why I thought I'd have more luck on the sand dunes. I think there might be footage of it. There'll be some footage of it. I think Meg was filming from a distance at one point. If we find it, we'll try and chuck it in here while I'm talking if you're a YouTube watcher. But I ate shit many times, and then to the point where I bled on a sand dune. That's how hard I hit the deck. I bled from sand. I got weak-ass knees, I think. Or I hit the board. I got no idea. But I'm bruised and battered from the weekend. And the point is, it ended up being not that much of a relaxing weekend because I'm an adrenaline junkie and I live in the moment. And I also tore my calf on my well gym run. So I pretty much came home from that weekend way less relaxed than I left, which wasn't the point. The point was kind of like the calm before the storm, before the tour. We're going away with a couple of friends of ours. My brother and his girlfriend ended up joining us. It was St. Leonard's, which is like a beautiful town. Did you see on my story the world's grimmest skate park?
I did see that.
Holy shit, guys. Chuck it into your search engines right now. DuckDuckGo the shit out of this. All right? Bing this boy if you have to. Look up St. Leonard's Skate Park, Victoria, and then cry for any skateboarder that lives in that town. I was shocked that they called it a skate park.
Were there any skaters there?
No, it wasn't even smooth bitumen. It was like, those like 90s schoolyard netball courts, and if you fall over from them, you'll have to go to hospital because the bitumen is like serrated. Yeah. It was like skating on a cheese grater. It just it would have sounded like there wasn't like fucking. I imagine I wasn't there at Gallipoli, but I imagine it would have sounded like invading the Turks, just on the way into the ramp.
Yeah.
Just like machine gun fire, the trucks noise. And all it was just a ramp about this high. I'm not joking. It was kind of like more of a skate park for one of those finger...
Or tech decks.
Tech decks, yeah. It would have been more suited for a finger skateboard than an actual one. Even a penny board was too large. But fuck, it was funny. And I got so many people. It's one of those places that I find really beautiful. It's on the beach just past Geelong if you're from Victoria and you know it. But it's a beautiful, quiet beach town. And I got hit up by so many people who live there going like, yeah, it sucks. It sucks. I can't believe you come here. I live here for all my life. It sucks. You live on a beautiful, quiet beach town. Shut the fuck up. All right, some of us have to pay a lot of money to stay there for the weekend. Oh, it sucks. Okay, your skate park sucks. Maybe they were all skaters from the town. But I hate when people complain about when they're from a really nice place. Like there's probably someone who lives in like Paris. He's like, Paris sucks. And he's like, oh, I have to walk past the Eiffel Tower. It sucks. Like, shut the fuck up. People pay so much money to come there. This is why, like, whenever I'll never complain about Melbourne. Like, I'll never be like, Melbourne sucks. Because it's awesome. We have the MCG. Have you seen that thing? It's huge. You can go watch sport there and drink beer. It's unbelievable. Don't complain if you're from a really nice holiday spot. I'm sure it must suck living regionally, but there's got to be some perks there. Come on. And I've been updating people on the gram this week. People have been loving the mundane updates. And to be honest, I had a pretty exciting weekend. But I couldn't post any of it because that's not what people want on the gram. And it's crazy that when you use Instagram for its intended purpose, I got about 4 times the amount of people watching my stories on the weekend than they usually would. And I was literally just like, I'm blinking. Now I'm breathing. Now I'm walking 1 foot in front of the other and repeating that process. And people are like, more. What are you doing now? Have you blinked again? So some people are like, yeah, you haven't opened a door. What the fuck's going on? How are you getting through doors? Update us. Come on. So I'm trying to keep you guys as updated as possible. But guys, I've been living a crazy lifestyle. There's not that much mundane stuff to post. I've been avoiding trying to post all the crazy fun shit I've been doing. And, but when I take out the rubbish, I document it, which is great. So I stumbled across something on the weekend that I don't think you've had to go through yet. You're a year younger than me.
No, I'm same age.
Same age?
Yeah.
Okay. How old are you?
Right now I'm 24. Yeah, 24.
Okay. But have you already turned 24?
Yeah, I turned 24 last year.
Ah, so you're the same age.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I might just be really unhealthy.
Okay.
I was about to shave the other day.
Yeah.
Looking at the old beard, trying to more just like, when you suss out what you got to work with in the mirror just quickly before you start chopping it off. I was like, yeah, looking at my canvas, sure, the usual. And then I went up. That's what my mind did. My mind went up. And I lifted my chin. And to my shock and horror, I thought it was a sunlight issue. I thought my eyes were deceiving me. I spotted 5 grey hairs on my chin. Ooh. Have you ever had a grey?
Yes, I have.
On your chin?
No hair.
Oh, your hair?
Yeah.
Oh, that's way worse.
Yeah.
Suck shit.
Yeah.
I'm still going good up top, I think. But I was shocked.
Yeah.
It wasn't even grey actually. It was white. So it was like Gandalf the white hair, like high wizard hair follicles. That's what I'm growing. So I panicked a little bit. I shaved it off. I shaved down way more than I usually would. It's now growing out a bit again. I sussed it out before I picked you up this morning. It's back. So I can't get rid of it.
Maybe getting rid of it now.
No, it's there for life now.
Yeah.
Can you see it? Look at that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can see it.
Can you look up reasons for early graying? If there's any lifestyle choices I can change, maybe drinking every weekend and living my life to the max isn't paying off because I don't want to come out when I'm 30.
B12 deficiency.
B12.
Deficiency, severe iron deficiency, chronic protein loss.
So it's just like, stop eating chicken every meal of the day, dickhead. You know, I can't remember a day where I didn't eat chicken.
I heard about this on Luke and Lewis
Yeah.
this morning, yeah.
I cannot remember a day. Like, and I was thinking about it on the way home from Luke and Lewis because we talked about it on the other podcast. And then I was like, nah, come on. Like, you exaggerated a bit. I don't think I actually gave the full perspective of how much chicken I really eat. I missed about 3 meals that I thought about afterwards. I was like, oh, you also had chicken for lunch that day as well.
Yeah.
I haven't had chicken today. So maybe today I did have chicken. You know what? And after we recorded that Luke and Lewis episode, I went straight to the shops and I got a chicken schnitzel sandwich.
Did you have chicken last night?
No, beef ravioli. Yes, thank God. So surely my that would have been full of iron, right? Red meat.
Yeah, but another cause is genetics, of course.
Yeah, but my dad he's like 50 something, well, probably late 50s, and he's got some grey hairs, but he's pretty much gone his whole life with no greys.
And another one, of course, is stress.
Yeah. You know why? Because when I go to have weekends away, the plan is like just switch off for the weekend, have fun with your friends, which I do. Poo. Should have written some stuff on the whiteboard. But I do intend to always not stress myself out. But then I'm just really busy. Like last night we got home and I had to film a video and I made the conscious decision after the grey hair incident, now permanent incident on my face. I had to email this. I have to do a video, so I had the brand deal had to be done by Wednesday. But today I'm out all day because of this thing. I can't really talk about the thing. What can I hint? Something's being built. That's the only thing I'll hint. That's actually that's not really a hint. That's a huge spoiler. But anyway, so I'm out 2 days this week, which kind of kills 2 days of my week, which I'd usually have to make videos and stuff. I told this brand that I could do a deal with them by Wednesday. Point is, I had to come home after a 12-hour day at Lewis's and film last night. We got everything out ready to film. And then I was sitting on the couch. Meg was getting some of the stuff ready to film. And I just started dozing off on the couch. And then I was just like, nah, this is insane. I have to just go to bed. So I went to bed at 11:30 last night, and then I slept till 9. That's 9.5 hours of snoozing.
Yeah.
I was fucked. And that explains the grey hairs.
Maybe, yeah.
I think it's stress. I don't know. It sounds pathetic, me complaining about stress, because some people are listen, it's probably doctors and engineers. And I'm like, guys, I've got to do a VPN brand deal. I'm fucking stressed out. God, I'm like, how will people know how to avoid paying for Netflix if it wasn't for me? Fuck. I always feel like I can't complain about my problems on this podcast, even though that's exclusively what podcasts are for. It's just free therapy. It's not actually. I have pay money to host this. You know what, guys? If anyone wants to sponsor this podcast, speaking of sponsoring the podcast, Patreon. Thank you all to the new people who have signed up to listen to Luke and Meg. If you enjoy this podcast and want to keep the fun going, head over to the Patreon and we upload a new episode of Luke and Meg every fortnight. It gets very loose. It gets very weird. And if you want to know things about me that you should never know, then listen to that. I just spat all over the microphone. God. Say it, don't spray it. Fuck. Reese. I don't know why I'm telling you. I'm also telling the thousands of people that listen. But Reese, I've got you here.
Yeah.
I saw a 20-year-old dog on the weekend.
20-year-old dog?
20 years old. Now, if you guys don't know much about dogs, that's heaps old. Isn't 1 year 7 dog years?
Something like that, yeah.
Can you look up how many in human years, how old that dog would be? That dog must be pushing 200 or maybe 180 in human years. It was crazy. I met this dog. Oh, I met the guy who owned the dog at the St. Leonard's pub on Friday night. Bit of a great pub, by the way. One of my favorite pubs in Victoria. Bit of a rough clientele for sure, but that's why I like it. It's one of those pubs that has a bit of character. You know, it's not even a beer garden outside. It's just a paddock. Instead of normal tables and chairs, there's just schoolyard benches like that you can grind over in the schoolyard level of Tony Hawk, and they're colourful. There's a hotel above it where the air cons look like they haven't been replaced since about the late 1940s. I think those air cons were invented before air cons were actually invented. That's how rusted they are. So there's a lot of character, and I'll be honest, I got the vibe that this dog was almost the pub mascot because the guy looked like he lived at the pub. Have you got the answer?
What breed was the dog?
It was short. It was black and white, short. It kind of looked like a short dog. that was old, and it was. It was short. Does that help?
And it was
black and white.
I've got a dog age calculator.
Oh, okay.
And if I know the breed,
does it say what height you can put in the dog? Meg, she'll know. What breed was the 20-year-old dog?
The one that just
Yeah,
wobbled
the fucking wobbly short dog. It was short.
I think he was a Jack Russell.
Jack Russell.
Cross, maybe?
Just do Jack Russell.
Yeah.
Honestly, that dog was so old.
But he was a black and white one.
Yeah, it didn't even. That's what I said. It didn't even know what breed it was. It didn't even know where it was.
Dude, it didn't know where it was. It was completely blind.
I know. It was. I was about to get to that.
Oh.
Yeah, I haven't even described the dog yet. So this dog, right, was. I thought at first, like, oh, this dog's had like 3 pints because it was just sitting in the pub for hours, and I just saw this fuck-eyed wobbly dog just wandering around the inside of the pub. Like, you don't often see a dog indoors at a pub. And it was just like kind of hobbling around. And because it was so short, you don't really, when you see a short dog, for some reason, you don't really think old. You think usually like, oh, that's a demented looking puppy, you know? So I was like, oh, this dog's had a few too many. Jesus, they need to cut this little Jack Russell off or whatever. At the time, I didn't know it was Jack Russell. I was like, they need to cut off this short ass dog. Then we get talking to the owner. And he's like, yep, 20 years old. He goes, it's actually, he's completely blind and one of his legs doesn't work. And all of a sudden, it went from like kind of funny to then real sad. We were just like, he's like, yeah, but he's still happy. And then I was like, really? And I looked across and I watched this dog walk into a glass wall and then like go, and it shocked itself. And the guy's like, yeah, see? He's having a great time. And I was like, are you sure? Dude, the best thing you can do for that dog right now is give it like 4 shots of tequila and its heart stops. That's like the best thing.
I've calculated the age. It would be 87 in human years.
Is that it?
Yeah. For a Jack Russell, yeah.
Oh, so they just lived...
But its life the life expectancy is 13 to 16.
Oh, right. So it's gone 4 years past
the
life expectancy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so old. It was just like walking. It wasn't even walking. It was like dragging its leg along the ground, running into walls. It just looked like, you know, like one of those, you know, those videos. The human equivalent to that dog would be those videos of people that are so drunk that they're completely tipping over while walking.
Oh, yeah.
They're just leaning back and then they try and catch themselves until they eventually just fall. Like the very Brown Cardigan type level content. It was like that if that was a dog. This dog didn't even know where it was, completely blind. And the guy who owned the dog just had no self-awareness or was clearly maybe too attached to this dog, clearly after 20 years that he couldn't even think of letting it down. And we just had to go along with it. He was like, yeah, see, look, he seems happy. And we're like, yeah, man. Yeah, the dog literally can't see where it's going. And then I walked past it. The poor thing freaked the fuck out because it thought it was being attacked. I just was walking past and it was like, "Whoa," and I guess it can't see me. It could just hear noises and shit. I'm like, dude, it was pretty funny at first before we knew the dog was 20. And then when I found out I was 20, I was like, that's too old for a dog.
Oh, yeah.
You know? I don't know. There should be like a nursing home for dogs. I think it's called the vet, I think. Yes, that was interesting. I look like Gandalf. What else do I have to talk about? How far through are we?
We got 36 minutes left.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm just looking at the whiteboard. Guys, we got a jam-packed show today. This is the problem. Last week, I actually got asked a great question during the week. Last week, I worked out, I think I talked about this in the Luke and Meg one. I did 12 or 13 hours of podcasting. 13 hours of me on record in 1 week because I did the Gypsy Tales in Queensland. It was 3.5 hours. I did 7 podcasts in 1 week.
That's fucked.
Yeah. And then people are like, oh, mate, you repeated a story on Luke and Lewis. What do you want me to talk about? All right, I have one life. I can't just and then I got a message from someone who must have listened to a lot of them. Like, hey, man, I love your stuff. I've just realized I've listened to you talk for about 8 hours this week. And after I was like on hour 8, I listened to Luke and Lewis, all the ones I did that during the week. And he's like, now we're all new podcasts. He's like, just a question, which means I must have said something fucked. He was probably thinking of last week's story about the old drunk Asian lady.
Oh yeah, probably.
He goes, just a question. He goes, not trying to hate, genuine curiosity, because I wouldn't regret anything you say. But he goes, do you ever regret anything you say? And I'm just like, fuck yeah, dude, all the time. You cannot come out of 12 hours of hearing yourself talk, listen to it back, and go, I nailed all of it. It's all exactly perfect. And I would say the best way to describe it is podcasting, especially the amount that I do with Luke and Lewis and being on guest on other podcasts. It's a lot of I think everyone wants to come out. Like, obviously the dream would be to come out, be as funny as possible, know everything I'm going to say and go bang, bang, bang. And everyone's like, whoa, damn, Luke's great. But that's just not the reality. The good analogy, the best analogy I can think about it is or describe it as, it's like firing from the hip. You know, you want to be like a sniper, like hitting every shot you make, but I'm spraying and missing a lot. I spray a lot of thoughts out there and miss constantly. And that's the reality. So thank you all to the people who listen to me for 5 hours a week, but God, I hope 3 hours of them are worth listening to. That's what I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah, about a 60% hit rate. It's not great. That's almost a fail at high school.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
It's like just a pass. But yeah, I am trying to tone it back a bit because that's why we do the Patreon ones fortnightly. It just so happened to fall on 1 week where both the Patreon ones for Luke and Lewis and Luke and Meg were due.
Yeah.
I did a guest. It was just like a hectic week, and I think I got to the end of that week. It was just before the lockdown started, and I was just like, I'm done talking. One night, Meg was like, are you mad at me? Did I something wrong? And I was like, no. And she's like, well, what's wrong? You haven't talked. You usually talk. You talk all the time. And I was like, I finished talking. She goes, what do you mean? I'm like, I completed it. I felt like I'd finished a video game. I was like,
You clocked it.
talking achievement unlocked. I did it. 100%. I fucking nailed it. Got every single little hidden word, on every single level. And I just 100%. It was the same feeling I got. Oh no, I've never actually completed it. One time I got 99% on Lego Star Wars, the complete saga. Never completed that game. I just couldn't find one of the fucking kits. Despite searching it, I just couldn't get to it. But yeah, it was like the same feeling of I feel like I'm done here. And I just had nothing else to say. And it was great. I chucked on a podcast, went and did some silent gardening. Because I think that's what people think about comedians. Like, man, they must be always so funny. Dude, sometimes I just like to talk to no one and pull out weeds, bro. That's what I do. Because if you don't have time to think about what you're going to say the next week, it'll just be as shit, you know? And you know what? If I had thought about it more, I probably could have come up with a better analogy than firing from the hip, you know? I feel like that was a pretty good analogy. Yeah, you know?
Describes it well.
Thank you, Reese. This is why I get Reese here.
Yeah. I just say yes.
I say it's like to help produce the podcast. It's just for moral support. It's just for him to like be like, good job, man. Keep going. Seriously, how long left?
32 minutes.
That was only 4 minutes? We got 4 minutes out of that. Guys, don't leave. Stay. All right? I'm just begging my audience. Fuck. This will be one of those episodes back in like the memoirs days where I'd be like, all right, guys, well, a bit of a shorter podcast this week. And then I'd go and make my appointment on time. And
You'd
anyway.
regret calling it the Luke Kidgell Hour right now.
Yeah, I know. Fuck. I was thinking about that. We and Reese had this discussion before we called it the Luke Kidgell Hour. I said, like, that's a good name. And Reese goes, it's pretty long. Like, you don't often do an hour. And I'm like, mate, it's like an extra 10 minutes. I usually do 50. Feel that easy. I did have an update actually on last week's episode. I wanted to clear up there was a bit of breakfast confusion in the comment section of the podcast, as well as the DMs. I made a huge call on last week's podcast. If you missed it, I came out and said, I hate breakfast, which is a blanket statement, is just like completely ruling out the most important meal of the day and poo-pooing a third of my eating habits. What I meant by that, and I thought I was clear, but apparently I'm often not clear, and that's my fault, not really your guys, Jeff, your guys' fault, English. I meant I hate going out for breakfast. Like, I hate fancy breakfast. I don't like a big breakfast. I hate a hot tomato in the morning. I hate the mushroom. I hate I don't really like hash browns. There's nothing for me in cafe breakfast except for waffles and pancakes because internally I'm 4, right? So there's nothing for me there. For me there because I'm 4. Oh, next week we'll do whiteboard stuff. Yeah. Next week we will write some stuff down. But I wanted to clear up that confusion because people were like saying, mate, bit hypocritical. You talk about Weet-Bix a great deal on this podcast. Usually it's a center point of one of the main things I discuss, which is just a cereal that I eat, which is, it's over the years. I've probably mentioned Weet-Bix more than I've mentioned my girlfriend on this podcast, you know? It's getting to that point. But I want to say that I do eat breakfast. You know, and I do think it's the most important meal of the day. I also think going to the doctor is important, but I don't love it, you know? I think going to the optometrist is important, but I don't love it. I actually cancelled going to the optometrist today because this other thing that I'm going to do after this came up. So I don't actually value it as that important, clearly. But yeah, my point is, I just want to clear up any breakfast confusion. I'm pro breakfast, just not pro going out breakfast. Like, I'll eat Weet-Bix and toast, but that's about it. Pancakes, the odd croissant if I want to be a little bit of a fancy boy. Anything other than that, even waffles I think are overrated. Very American. They're just a shitty pancake. It's like, hey man, you just put squares in a pancake. I'm not impressed by that. Are you a waffle man?
No, pancake.
Yeah, pancakes over waffles any day. I think most Australians would agree. It seems very American. Like, you're watching American TV show and they've got like a waffle maker.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, waffles here are hard to come. I mean, they're not hard to come by. It's just no one's doing. It's no one's first pick, I don't think. We can do some, I don't know who needs to hear about this, which we've got a few this week. This first one came in the Discord. Geez, a lot of ums, isn't it? Just a streak of ums then. Just finding the screenshot. Okay, so Mitch in the Discord goes, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you don't need that much Milo. Either have it more milky or buy a better tasting chocolate powder. I've discussed this on the podcast before. You people might remember it. One of my most controversial statements of all time. It's actually where the segment unpopular opinions began. It was the origin story of that segment, which we should bring back. Send in your unpopular opinions during the week, and we'll bring that back next week. But yeah, I was saying I said it's a 7 out of 10. Milo is a 7 out of 10, and I stand by that statement. A lot of people were furious, and I said, hey, if you like chocolate powder so much, have actual chocolate powder. It's like 50% malt. What the fuck even is malt? That sounds like shit. I mean, I don't mind Milo. As I said, it's a 7. And people need to realize that 7 isn't bad. 7's good, you know? Like 5 is okay. So 7's good. People always go, 7, that sucks. It's not a 10. Very few things in life are a 10, okay? Except for me, obviously. Who am I kidding, guys? I'm a fat Milo, all right? I'm a fucking 7. Right, personality, looks, pushing 6. You know, personality I like to think makes up for it with a fat old Milo. If I was female and you're asking Reese, sure, 10. Loves it. You know, your sockets were moist.
Oh, they were, mate.
They were didn't need to be all that week,
No.
that's for sure. They were a little sticky though. So anyway, Mitch goes on to say, you're just shoveling. By the way, he's furious at this point. I can imagine at this point he's bashing the keyboard as he's typing. You're just shoveling chocolate sand into your mouth like a fucking worm and pretending your mum gave you Milo to go, and go. Boom, he's used their slogan in there as well. Really not holding back there, mate. But you know what? I agree more. And I think there's a few people who needed to hear that. Those Milo fans, it's just Milo fanboys. That's what it is. Oh, what are your thoughts on the whole Milo
That's all
debate?
right. Yeah, it's all right.
It's fine. It's a
Yeah,
7, isn't
yeah.
it? You know what? Actual chocolate powder like Netflix, it's better.
You said Netflix.
Oh. Fuck, yeah. How good's like mixing in a bit of Stan into your milk? Bit of fucking Presto, anyone? Remember Presto?
Yeah.
Is that streaming service still around?
I'll
No.
have a look.
That and TiVo just fucking fell off, didn't it? Presto. Now there's Binge. We got Binge during the week. It's actually pretty good. Yeah, dude, I have so many streaming services, or well, Meg does, because you know what? Between like two families, between like my family, like we have the Netflix account, and then like Meg has Stan, Disney Plus. I think we have an Amazon Prime account kicking around because you know you can watch my comedy special on there, but don't watch it on my website. You know, and now we have Binge as well.
Yeah.
How much fucking media do I think I want to consume?
Well, Presto's not a thing anymore.
It's not a thing. Redundant.
Yeah, 2017.
Oh, really? It hasn't been a thing for 4 years. Jeez, that was
And it
short-lived.
launched in 2014.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very short-lived
Very short.
streaming service. I think a few people won't even remember that. People will be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, I meant to say Nesquik. Get a Nesquik up, yeah. That is far more chocolatey. Man, I'm a fan of Sustagen more than I am Milo. And that's might be controversial, but you know, man, I want something that mix in a little. Milo doesn't even mix in properly. It's one of my biggest complaints with it. It's supposed to dissolve in the milk, and yet it just sits on top, just like, you're right, it's just fucking chocolate sand, which is good still, I guess. There's something enjoyable about it, but it ain't perfect, and it doesn't actually do its intended purpose. So you know what? That one's from Mitch. I'm going to stand by Mitch there, and I hope all the Milo fanboys and girls take a good hard look at themselves. And, you know, I think we lost them all after I did that other episode, so we'll see if there's any still kicking around. But this one comes in from Ezra. Hey, Luke, I don't know who needs to hear this, but just because frozen yogurt has slightly less sugar and fat than ice cream, it is not healthy. Limit your frozen yogurt accordingly. Damn, are you a nutritionist? Are you my mum? Fuck off, Ezra. All right? You don't tell me how much frozen yogurt. If I want to eat froyo, I'm a damn adult. All right? Who's going grey. So, much more mature than you. I think it shows maturity.
Yeah.
Yeah, my chin. I'm just mature from the lip down. No other part of me is mature.
Silver beard soon.
Yeah, I do. I'm going to be a silver fox. Man, You're gonna love it
Yeah.
as well.
I love it.
All right, now he's just hitting on me. Also, he's got two. It was Ezra a boy name?
Oh, look.
It sounds like a god name from like mythology. Ezra the Great. You know, Ezra sounds like
It actually was a religious thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So are you related to Medusa? Ezra. That sounds like a name from a fantasy book. I'll be honest. Anyway, he or she doesn't matter, guys.
Mostly looks like a he.
He?
Yeah.
Whatever. Gender's a construct, so who cares? Ezra said, also, I don't know who needs to hear this. Don't touch snow with your bare hands. I wish I could say I don't know who needs to hear this, but it's me. I needed to hear this 5 hours ago. That's all. I'm surprised you could still type with your frozen ass hands. I'm surprised your finger didn't snap off on the keyboard. I've done snow with bare hands before. I've only ever been in the snow twice in my life, which might shock a lot of UK listeners or people from snowy areas, but you have to travel like 4 hours to go to the snow here. You can go to Mount Buller in snow season, but it's quite expensive to go in snow season, and unless snowboarding's your thing, which it's not my thing, I don't really know where you'd go. Like, it's fun. We went, you want to know the most bogan thing ever? The one time when we were kids, when we went to the snow, was for the most bogan reason of all time. It's because my dad won $500 on the footy show. And that's why we went on a family holiday. He's like, we've won, we've hit the jackpot. We've won $500. I remember Eddie Maguire read out my dad's name on the tally, and we're all going
That'd have been
nuts.
a huge moment.
Oh, it was huge, mate. The living room went off. And then Dad's like, that's it. We're heading to Lake Mountain. Not Buller. That's a bit expensive. But we will head to Lake Mountain for the weekend. And we did. It was great. And I had my little toboggan.
Tobogganing.
And then the second time I saw snow was in New York when I went in end of 2018, and snowed in November, which is I think was a little bit rare. Or it was snowed for days when I was there, and I didn't dress accordingly. I talked about this on the podcast when I came back at the time, but yeah, I was wearing Nikes, like with, because I was looking around, I'm like, everyone else is wearing sneakers. Like, I thought, they'd be wearing like boots or something, but I was like, what the fuck? My feet are freezing all the time. How is everyone else from New York wearing sneakers? Turns out they like, it's some kind of waterproofing, like Scotch Guard. I don't know what it's called.
I'm not sure.
It's called something, but it's like a thing you spray or wipe on your shoes, and it makes it like waterproof and snowproof.
Okay.
That they all put on. And I didn't have that at all. So I'm just walking around in Nikes in Central Park in the snow going like, is this normal? And like, I hardly even bought a proper jacket. I was like, oh, New York, November, it'll be cold. So I bought like a hoodie. Yeah. It was like -1 degrees. It was one of those, it was so cold that when you went outside your hotel, my, like any snot that was in my nose just froze over. Yeah, like I would just like, instead of blowing out snot rockets, I was just blowing out icicles. Like I was just like snotty Frozone from The Incredibles. I was just like, and like in a big icicle would just like fucking kill an ant. There's no answer. That's how cold it was. I don't even know how wildlife survives in that city from the pollution and the cold. It's a brutal place. But yeah, I had a snow fight in Central Park with bare hands. Wasn't that bad. I've touched snow. Suck it up, Ezra. All right, you're telling me how to eat my froyo, and then if you're so opinionated on, Ezra's very opinionated on frozen things.
Yeah.
There's a real. What are your thoughts on the movie, Ezra? Do you a fan of Let It Go? Were you sick of it by the end of all the Frozen hype? Personally, I got sick of it. Meg was a huge Frozen fan. I watched the film years after it came out. I think I watched it during lockdown last year. Overrated. A fat old 7.
Well, I haven't seen it, so
maybe I was drinking a Milo while watching it, but I just remember it being a 7 because I was like, "Oh, you've never seen it?
No,
dude, don't." It's not. The soundtrack's meant like, and the snowman's pretty cute, and so is the reindeer. Okay, fuck, it's a 9, but whatever. It's awesome. But I just think I think in my head, because you see Frozen everywhere. Like you walk into Big W, there's like fucking Elsa bikes You can buy like an Elsa tricycle and it says like "Let It Go" down there on the rims and shit. You're like, all right, like this movie must be phenomenal. I was expecting Shrek quality with how much I saw Frozen stuff everywhere. It's just like, you know what? I felt like Despicable Me lived up to the Minion hype.
Yeah.
That was a great film. Those are great films. Frozen, yeah, I thought it was a weak narrative, to be honest. I don't know, you can't really judge a Disney movie off the plot, but I don't know. And also it is for children, but I'm watching it as an adult going, I don't know, guys. I didn't like the snowman's character arc. But anyway, Ezra, thanks for your, I don't know who needs to hear this. I did say that I'm not exempt to criticism, but I felt a little attacked about the froyo. I don't even really drink much or eat much. Do you drink froyo? You'd eat it. It's like you eat ice cream, but you also kind of drink it.
Yeah.
Like as you're licking it. You know what? You don't eat or drink ice cream. You lick it and then swallow. Sounds gross. That's what you do to dicks. Anyway. Thanks for the correspondence though. And you can send us an email. Hang on. Anytime at worth the wait.
It's popping off the email, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's probably the busiest it's ever been.
But this is how little it was popping off, like the last few weeks, which, as you could tell, the intro sucked. I get in the car with Reese the other day and he goes, oh, big week of the emails. And I go, oh, yeah, got a fair few. And he goes, yeah, 8. Thousands of people listen to this podcast, like thousands. I think we had about 3,000 people listen to the last episode, which was great. And by the way, the podcast, best month ever since it's become the Luke Kidgell Hour. Numbers have gone up, not on YouTube, but on audio.
But probably because like people going back to work and
Yeah.
stuff.
But we appreciate that. Thank you very much. But yeah, 3,000 people listened to Luke Kidgell Podcast at gmail.com. 8 people fucking typed it in. Guys, what's the point of me singing opera if you're not going to remember it? But yeah, Ezra did just that, and we appreciate that. And also, guys, it means it's pretty easy to make it on the podcast. Yeah. The standard's not high. Kyle did that. He said, I don't know who needs to hear this, but getting lip injections won't get you on The Bachelor. You'll just look like someone who got stung on the lips by a bee. Kyle, as someone who's watched a lot of The Bachelor, I would disagree. There is a high correlation between girls who get lip fillings and girls who get cast on The Bachelor. I would say if you were looking to get on The Bachelor, couldn't hurt, you know? Getting those lips juiced up, just getting them plumped up a little. You know, I don't think that... I'm actually not a fan, personally, of lip fillers, the Kardashian look. I always find it so weird. I only found out 2 years ago that it was bad to have thin lips if you're a girl. Did you know this?
No, I didn't know
Girls don't like having thin lips. Oh. Like, that's why there's a thing, and this is how I found out about it. I thought it was a joke. I thought, like, Meg was fucking with me at the time. I thought she was putting a lip balm, and I was like, oh, can I have some of that lip balm? Because I forgot my paw, and that's my thing. And she goes, oh, it's not really lip balm, it's lip plumper. And I go, what? I thought she was messing with me. She goes, it's to make your lips more plump. And I was like, oh, okay. And then one time on a live stream, she like fucking like coated it on my lips.
Oh, I think I remember this.
And I was plump as hell. Oh, man. I look like a Kardashian. I was keeping up, put it that way, with them. It was great. I felt sexy. And then I kind of got it. I had these big lips and I was like, fuck. And then like my lips shrunk, like 2 hours later. And I was like, oh.
Sad.
I know. I was like insecure. I felt like a girl after reading like a fucking teen magazine. I was like, oh. First time beauty standards have ever got to me, guys. Guys never got that growing up. Like, like there was all that. Remember there was like all these, people used to really talk about that. Like, oh, girls' beauty standards set in magazines that they read. And it's like, now no one fucking reads, so it's not a problem anymore. Now they just see it on Instagram. So
Yeah.
it's probably more fucked now.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
But like guys never experienced that because like there was never like a hot dude in K-Zone. You know? In magazine, there was never just like Zac Efron was never like there with his top off. It was just like Yu-Gi-Oh. You know, you never like saw like a Charizard and was like, oh fuck, I wish I had his tail. Guys never experienced beauty standards because like never was I once checking out Ash Ketchum's ass and being like, oh, I don't have one like that. I want that Pokemon trainer ass. But anyway, I got really off track then. I just started talking about beauty standards. I got really serious.
We've
And
got
then
12 minutes left.
12 minutes?
Yeah.
Oi,
Oi,
we didn't
God.
even have to run down the clock. We've still got flex chat.
Yeah, yeah.
Guys, no padding needed. I was padding a little bit with the K-Zone stuff. Phew. Big old relief. Wow. Now I'm supposed to be leaving now to the thing. That's okay, guys. People are used to me being late. It's got to the point now where I think a few people in my life have started to... Oh, can you turn the light on? I was wondering why the light looks fucked this episode. That's better. Oh, well, it's good now. What, 40 minutes, 50 minutes in, we fixed it?
You'll get a final 10 minutes of great lighting.
Yeah, guys, in the YouTube. Comment now if you're still watching and be like, oh, God, thanks so much for changing the lighting. That was hard to watch earlier. What was I saying?
You being late.
Oh, yeah, people lie to me about what time I should be there at places, I think.
Oh, really?
Like, because I think people have realized, like, if you want me there at 10, tell me 9:45.
Yeah, that's what people were doing that at the Patreon cricket. They were like guessing what time you would arrive.
Yeah, I arrived to my own meetup like 20 minutes late.
Yeah.
But that's because I had to carry a fucking esky halfway around the MCG. All right? And then you ended up coming to help
Yeah.
with Luca,
Yeah.
which is very kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reese ended up having to do most of it. Well, that's why I paid the big bucks. You
Yeah.
weren't being paid that day, actually. You were just there for beer.
I was.
Yeah, your own beer. All right, this one, I think that's the end of the I don't know who needs to hear this.
Yeah.
But thanks for sending that in, Ezra and Kyle. And yeah, if you are a girl thinking of going The Bachelor, I don't know if Kyle's correct. I think lip fillers will increase your chances, but I don't think you should do it regardless. Because you are perfect the way you are, girl. You know, if I said that on TikTok, all the comments would be like, he's so sweet. Oh my God, he's so nice. My TikTok's been popping off. We are going to be not bashing TikTok anymore, guys, until I stop popping off on that platform. The minute I hit a plateau and followers stop going up, I'll be back on the trashing TikTok train. But my last TikTok got 1.1 million views, and the two before that got over 400K. So your boy's popping. We're going to hit 500,000 soon
love
on TikTok.
TikTok, yeah.
We do love TikTok here, which we're very excited. And Daniel Tocknell, if you're listening, there's a new Tok King in town, my man. All right? He was the Celeb Spot King, but now I'm the TikTok King. So you're listening to royalty, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're not on TikTok, get on it. It's legitimately the best social media app. If you persist with it for 3 weeks and it works out, once it works out what you like, it's good. And if you don't interact with anyone on the platform, the user base, horrific. Okay, I'm doing it again. Fucking terrible people on TikTok, but thank you for watching my videos. It's very hypocritical. I'm just like, fuck them all, but I appreciate it. I uploaded this video. It was on my YouTube channel. If people watched it, I was talking to a disability worker, and a few like 14-year-old girls started complaining in my Instagram inbox that I shouldn't make fun of disabled people. I'm like, I wasn't making fun of disabled people. There was a guy who worked with disabled. I was actually making fun of people who live in Bundaberg because I was calling them disabled. I'm like, so I guess I was making fun of disabled people, but that's just the population of Bundaberg, which was the bit. That was the joke, I want to say. And I'll just say this. Don't want to, because they're probably lovely people and they're probably young and don't know life yet. Rule 1 of life, don't speak on someone else's behalf, okay? Because the reason why I used to have a joke about Stephen Hawking. I think it's in my comedy special. And the few people used to complain to me after shows, like, should make fun of Stephen Hawking. And I'm like, firstly, he's dead. So well, he's not going to give a shit. Secondly, I'm not really making fun of him. And also, I'm making fun of people in wheelchairs. And the people who liked that the most was over my tour last year, I had about maybe 3 or 4 people come who were in wheelchairs. They loved it by far the most.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they felt included. It makes them feel like a normal person. They were fucking howling. I was doing this joke, and there was a guy in the front row who was disabled. He had a carer with him. He was in like one of those electronic wheelchairs, and he was sitting in the front. And I knew, like, he was right in the front. I knew what punchline I was leading up to, and I was like, you know what? He's here because he likes me, and he likes the shit I do, so he'll probably fucking love it. People... I've done a few, like, little tags earlier in the bit that are, like, a bit edgy, and people are looking at this guy who's disabled. Everyone in the crowd is, like, looking across, seeing if the guy laughs. The guy laughed first, and then the rest of the crowd laughed.
So that would wait.
Yeah, they would be like, can we laugh? Yes? Okay, laugh. And then it gets to the punchline. I hit it. The joke is where I stand up and reveal that I've been sitting in the wheelchair this whole time, whatever. And then there's this, like, beat of silence in the room. It's like half a second, and it felt like eternity. And I hit the punchline, and it's just dead silent for like half a second. And I looked down at the guy in the wheelchair, and because he is disabled, he often was delayed laughing at of the jokes, as he must like think about it and go, oh yeah, that's funny. Like he was just processing it a little bit slower, and I saw him get it. Like I saw him go, and he just started fucking howling at this punchline of the which was, don't want to spoil the joke, but it's a fucking brutal punchline. And he starts howling, and everyone else in the room is like, just so relieved, and then starts laughing. I end up getting an applause that night because the guy in the front row in the wheelchair started clapping the joke. And afterwards, his carer came up to me, and the guy in the wheelchair was like, that was so amazing. Everyone else is such a bitch and pulls back and never says anything. It was so fucking cool. And he apparently in the line, the carer told me, he's like, oh, he told me, the guy in the wheelchair was like, it was so cool. I felt like a crowd member tonight.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, because like I was making fun of everyone else. I was making fun of people in the crowd, and people would probably avoid talking to the disabled person. I'd be like, come on, guys, standing ovation. What the fuck, mate? Like, if you can't make fun of... Because then that's treating them differently. If I avoided making fun of... Or avoided doing that joke that night because that guy was there, I think that's ruder, to be honest, because then I am treating him differently because of his disability. But yeah, we joke about everyone here, guys. But yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Flex Chat. How much time do we have left?
4.5.
Fuck, I got on a tangent then. We might have to do Flex Chat next week. Did I have anything else on my list? Oh, I have an update. Did you hear about, I talked about Luke and Lewis. And I fucked up my hand last week.
Yep.
We were filming that blowing the kiss video. And in the video, if you guys saw it, I did like a roll. And we filmed that like 2 or 3 times. And I fucked up the roll once. And I thought I jarred it at the time, or like maybe a hairline fracture. It was fine. Like it was hurt a lot the day, and then the next day it was a little bit better, and then I kind of forgot about it. On the weekend, there was a guy who was one of my brother's mates. He had a real firm handshake, and he did the thing where instead of handshaking me like up here, he handshaked my fucking fingers, and he squeezed it so hard, and I was like, huh? Like as he squeezed it, and he was like, oh, you okay? And I was like, oh, it's just my pinky. Never have I lost so much respect in my life. And I think he fucked up my hand again because it's been hurting ever since.
Have you gone to like a doctor or anything?
Nah, can't be fucked. Still with COVID, like doctors are so annoying. You gotta like wait outside still, and I don't know what the protocol is, but going to the doctor's still fucking annoying. And I'm trying to go this whole COVID period without getting a COVID test. Have you had one yet?
No.
Yeah, I reckon I can go the whole time without getting a test. So I don't want to go to the doctors because then I'll probably have to get a test. So I'm just happy to like put up with a fucked hand for about another 3 months. But I can't like bend it. That's not good.
No.
Yeah. This is going to be one of those things that when I'm like 80, I'm not going to be able to use this hand anymore. I'm going to be like, Probably should have just gone to the doctors. Reese was right. But
Well, you do your own stunts.
yeah, I do. I'm like Tom Cruise. I'm the Tom Cruise of the Australian sketch world. I do not let anyone do my stunts, even though I could literally just drag a guy off the street as a stunt double and get them to do it. But you know, I respect the craft too much, guys. You know, when I'm doing mediocre YouTube sketches where I'm required to do a jump and roll, you can bet your ass I'm doing my own goddamn stunts. And yeah, I forgot to say at the start of the podcast, fuck, get your tickets. Get your goddamn tickets. Warrnambool is the first show. Then Shepparton and Ballarat. Ballarat looks like it's going to sell out. Trust me, I'm as surprised as you are. Actually, so is Shepparton. Shepparton's quite a small show because the COVID capacity we could have there was a little bit smaller. So I think there's only like 30 tickets left to Ballarat and Shepparton shows. So yeah, come to those. And Melbourne Comedy Festival is starting to fill up. There's less than 10 tickets on the first weekend left. So get them. That's on my birthday, that Saturday show. So come down, celebrate me. It's all about me. Celebrate me. And come have a bloody laugh. And then Geelong and Adelaide are going to sell out too. So thank you very much. I think it's TikTok. I'm selling significantly better than I usually do, which is great. Or it's just maybe the last time I toured was 2 years ago. So I've probably gotten bigger online or whatever. So it's very cool. Thank you very much to all the people who've copped tickets. Get yours, lukekidgell.com. And how much time do we have left now?
We have a minute 10.
Oh, do you have anything to say?
Not really.
Not really?
Didn't play any content.
Didn't plan any content?
No. Because you told me you had everything planned last night when you rang me.
Yeah. No, I said I would have everything planned. I lied, Reese.
Yeah, no.
yeah. Look at the whiteboard. Guys, does this look like a whiteboard of a guy who has much
When I came in
planned?
this morning, I asked, like, oh, there's nothing on the whiteboard. And you're
Yeah.
like,
And I was like, that's all right. That's content in itself. We can talk about the whiteboard. Everything is content, all right? That's the life I live now, where I'm just mining my friends for fucking content.
Yeah.
I feel like David Dobrik, just using all my friends. He's been thrown under fire this week.
I heard something about that.
H3 are trying to bring him down.
Oh, really?
Anyway,
What?
guys, we don't have time to
Yeah.
talk about it.
You have 25 seconds.
25 seconds? Well, what about to relieve my stress? We just do 25 seconds of silence at the end where I can just chill out a bit, guys. And hopefully I'm less grey next week. Because the camera's on me, I'm stressing more. Oh, that's the end. That's the end, guys. Thank you very much for
That's
listening.
good cheese sausage, isn't it?
Very good stuff, Whitey. Keep them coming in. Bye.